Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about all the problems that the pandemic caused in the health of our body and mind. First of all, we must remember that the pandemic was a very difficult time in the lives of all of us to a greater or lesser extent. This measure affected us all in terms of physical health. We can talk about a lot of problems. First, we must remember all the time we spend sitting, then circulatory problems, spinal problems due to bad postures may not affect us in the short term, but let's to remember that this period lasted approximately 2 years. So, being constantly exposed to these weird or these postures affect us a lot in the medium and long term. Spinal wear, leg pain, eye problems due to the prolonged exposure to both cell phone and computer screens because the most of the work during the pandemic was done virtually. This excessive use of screens can affect the eyes in many ways. So once the problem has been raised, we must begin to look for some solutions. Now that the pandemic time passed, we can better analyze what happened. And likewise, we can observe and analyze in detail the problems caused and look for possible solutions. In my case, I had some advantages of living in a small city. For example, when a year of the pandemic had passed, I started cycling because the stress of confinement was great and the measure allowed us to exercise individually. So, for that part, by being able to exercise regularly, I was able to solve health problems. What would be my advice for people who still have problems spending a lot of time in front of a screen? As a preventive measure, in the first place, it would be to activate the reading mode or night light, due to this is less invasive for the eyes. Second, is to be in a place with enough light so that the eyes do not need to make an effort to extra. This is in case it's very necessary to spend too much time in front of the screen. In case it is not extremely necessary, I recommend taking frequently a breaks to avoid fatigue and wear on the eyes. In the physical case, I recommend getting up from the chair every so often and taking an active break, moving around, doing a small exercise to rest your back and legs. In the case of mental health, I would recommend not insulating yourself so much in the computer, looking for new activities to do. At this time, since there are no more restrictions on contact, I recommend having more physical contact with our friends, family, partner, always looking for ways of recreation. It's recommended no isolate yourself and seek socialization time. Beyond the time and the pandemic, there is currently much use of virtual media, so these tips can be applied in daily life. That was all for today. I hope I may have helped a bit and have a nice day. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.